a podcast for you this week, but we're headed off on vacation over the next couple of days, spending some family time, and I thought it'd be fun to show you what I'm bringing along, both kind of to make some videos. I do hope to make a video or two while I'm on vacation, and just to capture fun family moments, and you know, not to show off what's in my bag, but I always think that sharing what I'm taking along with me sparks great discussion. So I'd love to hear your comments as we go through my bags, or I should say bags, because we have a couple of things to go through here. Oh, and I didn't bring down the Low Pro flip side backpack that I am bringing as well. It's got my clothes in it right now, but for walking around it will be carrying my camera gear. I got a link to the review down below. I'm going to try to put links to everything I talk about down below. I don't know if I'll get to do all of that before we head off, but I definitely will put some and try to point out some videos where I've talked about some of the stuff in detail before. First thing I'm going to start with, though, is something I haven't talked about before, but just recently have started mentioning. This is the Olympus EM1. This is my review unit. I am taking it along to the beach with me. I like this camera a lot. It's really nice. I'm shooting this with a 5D Mark III and actually the Sigma 35. Usually though, when I'm carrying around a camera capturing family moments, it's the Canon 5D Mark III and the 24-70 lens. That is a heavy combination. And for really, honestly, I don't need that for family photos and just capturing fun moments. Something like this is more than enough. You know, I'm not even sure how many megapixels. 16, I think. I stopped counting on megapixels. That matters way less than sensor size. This is the Micro Four Thirds sensor size, but it is a very good sensor in here, and I've done some really nice shots with this in lower light that I've been happy with. They certainly start to get a little muddy, not compared to the, you know, not as 5D Mark III powerful or the Sony a6000, but still good enough, certainly. And the other features are really nice, and it's so much lighter. I'm shooting with the 12-24 f2.8 on here. One thing that I'll point out, it's just silly, but I think it's kind of fun. On the dial is a mode to make a little photo collage where you can take 3 pictures, take the first one, click, and it puts it up in one corner, and then it will show you the framing for the second picture and the third picture. It will save full versions of all 3, but then it makes that photo collage for you. It is a tippy, flippy screen, but doesn't flip out to the side, and it is a touch screen as well. Nice viewfinder. I will be talking much more about this soon, but it is very nice. I like it. That's what's going to carry around with me most of the time, but because I may make some videos and there may be some times where I want the full power of a DSLR, I do have my 5D Mark III. Right now I have the Sigma 50. I recently did a video about 5 reasons why you should get a prime. One of those was smaller and lighter usually. I wasn't thinking about this lens when I said that. This is a hefty lens for a 50mm lens, twice as big as the Canon 50-1.4 and at least twice as weight. I think it's actually maybe even more than twice. It might be close to 3 times the weight. It's a hefty combination, but the beautiful images that you can get out of this combination with really nice bokeh. So I'm taking it along. As I said, I probably would be fine without it, but because I'm making videos as well, it's really nice to have this. I have a one of these FP Gear tripod plates. This is the Arca Swiss style, and what I really like about this is it's got the little flip up for attaching to a black rapid strap. However, I can't find my black rapid strap right now. I haven't seen it since 2 weddings ago. I'm worried that I left it behind and I need to call that venue and see. But that's what I really like about this, because you flip that up and you can attach your black rapid. Flip it down, throw it on the tripod. The tripod I'm bringing along that's not in here, that is holding up the camera right now for this video, is the MePhoto travel tripod, my little red one. I've done a review of that. I've done a review comparison against the Delica. I thought about bringing a bigger tripod, but I just don't need a bigger tripod. This one does the trick, and I love the portability of it. It's so nice. So that's good. Let's go from those big things to this pile of stuff right here, and it is all GoPro stuff. Ever heard of gas gear acquisition syndrome? I certainly have that to some degree, especially surrounding the GoPro, because with more accessories, the GoPro becomes infinitely more fun. This is a little Gecko suction cup mount. So far I've used this, attached it to the sunroof, and did a time lapse of the kids in the back seat. It was enjoyable to watch for them and for me later. And you can put a full DSLR on that. I've done that before too. This is just your standard USB, not micro, but mini USB cable. That is for, oh, I don't think I brought that out either. We'll see in a second. That is mostly for being able to do the Wi-Fi, the MiFi adapter using DSLR controller. We'll talk more about that in a second if I find it in the bag. This is the chest strap for the GoPro. You wear it like so. You look incredibly nerdy when you do so, but it can give you a neat perspective. If we go sailing or kayaking, that can be a fun way to get some kind of chest level shots that give you a better perspective. The other alternative is to throw it on your head. You look even nerdier, but that can also give you some really nice perspectives in looking around. However, that can be, well, there's a lot of movement when it's up on your head. It can be fairly steady because your eyes, you know, you're not jiggling your head around too much when you're doing activities, but any of those small movements really do translate to some pretty serious movements, and they show up. But it's nice, and it's also fun to throw on the kids every once in a while to get their kind of perspective. But they move so much that it's not great. Here's the GoPro itself. It's the Hero 3 Plus Black. I've been really happy with the quality from this, the features, the Wi-Fi connectivity, all of that is really good. Battery life though, however, is horrible. So I do have a Wasabi charger. Right now it has the GoPro battery in there. It comes with 2 spare batteries. I think it costs about $24 or so. If I had to do it again, there is a separate charger that will charge 2 batteries at the same time, plus has a USB connection to plug into the GoPro. I would get that one. I think it's almost the same price. I'll put a link to that one down below. They're fine. The Wasabi seem to last just as long as the GoPro, which is to say about 5 seconds. It's not that bad, but I swear it is not great. For serious filming, you're going to need multiple batteries very quickly. But even better, I don't want to throw that on the floor, so I'll put that right there. Even better though is to use, another use of the USB cord is that it can power the GoPro from a USB battery. And so I've actually reviewed this. I still use it, the RAV Power backup battery. This thing can power the GoPro for literally days. I've done a longer snow time lapse with it. You plug it right in and you've got great power. Now, however, you're not going to be doing anything underwater or anything vaguely waterproof or water resistant with that, because on the waterproof case, there's no way to get that USB cord in. So you have to pick up something like the skeleton case, which does have a little opening. It's not waterproof, lots of openings on the side, or the skeleton housing for very lightweight travel, and it just clips kind of into there, and it has, again, a little hole for the post. Oh, and it does look like I brought along 2 USB cords. Oh no, that's a micro USB. That's a micro USB for powering cell phones and things like that. Here's a little lens cap, tiny little lens cap for the GoPro. And then the only other things in this bag besides the waterproof housing I showed you, the skeleton housing, and I can't remember what that's called. Let's call it the naked housing, are these Polar Pro filters. Right here is a circular polarizer, and that is the reason I picked up the little naked one, because this will only fit directly on the lens, and so you can't have any kind of case when you use this. And it does make the blues in the skies pop a little bit more. Because you get that huge field of view with the GoPro, really wide view, you do have to be careful not to have really significant shift from dark blue to lighter blue, because remember, a circular polarizer filter is most effective pointed 90 degrees from the sun. And so if you are spanning the sky, you're going to probably be spanning a good portion that includes 90 degrees and much less or much more, and so you're going to see that. Also in this Polar Pro bag is a little neutral density filter. Now this can be in a case, and it fits just right on this Hero 3 black case like so, and it stays on there very firmly. I'm not sure if it's magnetic or if it is just kind of a suction, but it is incredibly firm. This is slick, and I actually used this when we had the motion assignment, because, and the updated firmware of the GoPro allows some really fine-grained control of the GoPro settings, and you can say your ISO should not go above a certain amount. This can give you some really nice motion effects if you're doing a time-lapse out of a car or shots, because it will force the shutter speed to be slower to gather enough light. It's just sunglasses for the GoPro. And then plus that new firmware really allows you to control that. Another piece that I have in here that I have not had great success, I've mentioned this before, but this is a little macro filter. I've seen some really cool shots from the Polar Pro guys with this. And again, this fits on the same. I thought it fit on the other one, but it doesn't. It fits on the same. And it looks like that. And you certainly get some distortion out at the edges, but you know, it's neat. And I hope to do a whole little video about each of these pieces separately soon, because Polar Pro sent them along and they're very cool. If you have a GoPro and you're looking for a little bit more versatility, check those out and take a look at them. I think that's everything in this bag that is worth talking about. That's not worth talking about with the GoPro, so we'll put that to the side. I'm recording this right now on the Zoom H4n with a Shure SM93 lav mic. I have a whole bit about that I did. I'm bringing the other lav mic that plugs in there at the bottom as well. If Christina and I get our act together and decide we want to do a whole podcast while on vacation, we could do that. We have that option too. The battery charger for the Olympus, that's one of the other things that I wanted to say about the Olympus, is its battery life is great. And that's good, because I really don't like chargers like this. Just put the little flippy plug in here like the Wasabi GoPro or the Canon Professional. It annoys me, and it's a minor pet peeve. It certainly can be nice to say, oh, I can put this up on a counter, but no. Anyway, battery life of the Olympus is great. I have the holster bit for the cotton carrier system. Cotton carrier system can fit in here. It attaches, so if I took this off, could attach the little piece that slides in here, and I can put this on a backpack strap, waist strap, and so then that can be easy access. I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. I always feel like I want better access to my camera when I'm walking around. I've brought 2 shoulder bags, the little teeny Vanguard 18 and the Think Tank Retrospective 10, I believe it is, pine cone colored. I meant to bring those out, but I didn't. But there are times where I want to have the more comfort of a backpack, not a shoulder strap, because if I'm carrying the 5D Mark III, it gets heavy quickly and my shoulder gets sore quickly. So I'm going to try that out and see how I like it. I got a couple lens caps. And here is the little MiFi device. I use the USB cord to plug into here, turn this on, and then my phone can act as a DSLR, running the DSLR app, can act as the DSLR controller, and I can set all kinds of stuff up. But Christina set this one up for me, so it's not plugged in, not turned on. So, but this is really handy. 30 bucks. If you have a Canon camera, this is awesome. I've heard rumors that Nikon, there is the DSLR dashboard for the Nikon folks, and that they have a setup for this that works just as well too. It gives you wireless video and still control of your camera. Those of you who have a 70D, you say, well, I have Wi-Fi built in. Why do I need that? Anything video on the 70D, as soon as you turn Wi-Fi on, you can't do. Vice versa, anytime you turn video on, nothing you can do with Wi-Fi. Is that what I said? Did I say the same thing twice? But with this plugged in, you can be recording video, you can start it, you can stop it, if you're in manual mode, you can control your aperture, ISO, shutter speed, focus point, touch to focus, all of that's really handy. I have other videos that I've talked about it. This is 30 bucks, you buy it off of eBay or Amazon, and then you just root it, and it's very easy. Not for those of you who have tried to root phones or have heard about rooting phones, it's not like that at all. It is basically like updating the firmware on your camera. Very, very simple, and nothing to be afraid of. In this very fancy Ziploc bag, I have a pile of trigger trap cords. We are going to be staying in a house overlooking the Sound on the Outer Banks is where we're going. And so I do hope to do a time-lapse sunset. Now, for those of you who have watched our podcast, you know that we have some feelings about sunset photos. I should say Christina does, and I share some of those. That is to say that just because there's a sunset doesn't mean everybody needs to take a picture of it. Somebody shared a great little cartoon on my page the other day of the sun drawn getting into bed, And there's a bunch of photographers, and he's like, every effing time I try to take a nap or go to sleep or something. It's funny. But what I would love to do is a time-lapse sunset, and a really good one, not just down to the horizon. A lot of people don't realize about time-lapse sunsets though is the huge amount of light change over the course of a sunset. It's something like a stop every 10 minutes. And so if you're going for a nice time-lapse, and you're setting your manual exposure, very quickly it's going to be completely dark. Whereas to your eyes, there's still going to be beautiful colors, beautiful colors, beautiful colors. Then you watch the time-lapse and it's beautiful colors, dark for like 5 minutes. So I'm going to use the DSLR controller. Sorry, no, I'm going to use Trigger Trap. They have a bramper, which allows you to adjust your camera's exposure over time, and that stretches out the period that your camera can see those beautiful colors. That's my plan. What else do I have in here? I have an HDMI cord, and then I have another spare USB. I'm not using it right now, but plugs into the H4n and powers the H4n off a USB cord as well. It's super handy because this thing, the H4n, eats batteries like there's no tomorrow when you're using the phantom power. That is to say, the little Shure mics plugged into those XLR slots. So, why am I bringing so many Trigger Trap ones? Because I feel like there's one that doesn't work. And so I just grabbed all of them to make sure that there was one that worked. A headlamp. I've actually talked about this guy before. I love this headlamp because it's got a red mode. So going out and photographing at night, trying to do star photos, it's really hard to see, but you want to keep your night vision in decent shape. This red mode will let you see what you need to see and keep your hands free. It sits on top of your head, and it's got a nice bright white mode as well. I don't think there you go, you see that. And dimmer modes and stuff. So that's all sits up there just like that. I don't need to wear it the whole show. Going to the beach, going to sandy places, it's really nice to keep all of your cards clean, safe, and this is that Gepe card safe. Talked about it before. We use it for every wedding. Christina has one, I have one. One thing I've noticed though, it works great for CF cards. SD cards fit in here very nicely as well. They have a spot for them, but if you're not careful, I've noticed that it's starting to split my SD cards, because if you look carefully at SD card, they have a seam around the edge. They are put together, two pieces of plastic sandwiching a bunch of electronics in there, or not a bunch, but just a pile of memory. And because the bottom gets grabbed more so than the top every time you pull it up, and it actually has, one of my iFi cards has come apart. Now we could say that maybe the iFi card wasn't as put together, but I've noticed it's starting to happen to other cards. iFi folks were great though. It was still under warranty. No, it wasn't under warranty. I don't think it was, but they said, we'll send you a new one. Send us the old one. And I did that and got a brand new one. But waterproof, dustproof, sandproof, bright so you can see it quickly, and it's nice. And just as a quick tip for using things like this, this card right here upside down means it's used, don't use it. Right side up means it's formatted, ready to go. So that's great. If I'm recording any videos, or even if I'm taking a lot of pictures, my Mac with a SSD does not have a lot of space. This little Transcend I picked up last year on Black Friday. It's a 1 terabyte. I got it for about 60 bucks. I think prices are close to that again. Now it's shockproof, it is fast, it's USB 3, so it's got that funky little cable there. It can run off of a standard micro USB, but I don't think you get the full speed. I think it's down to USB 2 then when it does that. So this is great. Lots of room for backing up pictures and things like that. Canon battery charger. Again, if I was just taking pictures, I could just probably bring along a spare battery and be completely fine. But you know, one of those things that I don't like worrying about is whether or not my battery is going to run out. And so I've got a spare and I've got the charger, and this is the kind of charger I like that I was talking about with a little flip up. We don't need to talk about that a whole lot. Sigma lens cap for the 50, Olympus lens cap for the 12 to 24. Yeah, they should be on there, but you know what? The lens hoods are on there, and I don't put my lens caps on too often unless they're really being transported. CF card reader, if I'm right on I should show that. On my 5D Mark III, I am recording to CF card, 64 gigabytes, plenty of room for the whole trip, and a Wi-Fi card. Because the 5D Mark III doesn't have any kind of Wi-Fi abilities built in, shooting to that Wi-Fi card allows me to quickly share to my phone if I want to share a picture. I'm shooting full RAWs to the CF card, and I'm shooting small JPEGs to the Wi-Fi card. So they zoom over very quickly, plenty big enough for Instagram. And so, the little GPS GPE2 device that works with the 5D Mark III, and it basically tells the picture when it's taken, where you are. The little CF compact flash card reader. Canon 12-24, nice standard lens. As I said, it's hefty, and especially compare, with the 5D Mark III, they are a hefty combination, but it's a nice versatile lens. I probably could have gotten away without bringing it, but I brought it. This is something we've talked about in the past as well. $24. I think maybe I got mine for about $24. They're selling for a little bit more now. This is an LED light panel. We use this occasionally at weddings. At the Outer Banks, you get some nice ghost crab action out on the beach at night, and it's very dark, so it's hard to focus. And this is a lot better than a flash because one, you slide it into the hot shoe, you turn it on, you can use this little orange color panel to balance the light a little nicer. It runs off 6 AA batteries. You can see that it's getting a little corroded in there. And actually at the last wedding I turned it on, it went pop, turned itself off. I wiggled the batteries around and it turned right back on. So it really feels like we should get a better one soon because we're relying on this at weddings. It wouldn't be the end of the world if it didn't work, but it's nice. And it's got a little dial here that allows you to adjust the intensity. It throws out a lot of light. Did I say 6 AA batteries is what it runs off of? And it's got a little battery meter right here. You press test and it shows you. So as I said, you slide it into the hot shoe, you turn it on, and then your camera can focus like it's daylight, and it's throwing a lot of light on your subjects. It's really nice like that. And it can be used on weddings. We usually use it for a little bit of rim light in situations where we don't want to set up a whole flash, something like that. But we might want to take a picture or two with a flash. So I'm bringing along one 600 RT, a green laser pointer for fun. That's the only reason that's in there. 70-200, you know, it's just a really sweet lens. Again, I probably could have been fine without bringing this, but there are some times where you want a little bit more reach, and from 70, not bringing, I don't think, well, Christina probably brought her 85 actually, I don't know for sure. But not having anything above 70 can be limiting for some nice portrait type shots. And that range from 70 to 200, being able to do f2.8, it is a heavy sucker, but it can create some beautiful pictures. I think mostly the kids out in the water would be a lot of fun to take photos of. So that's in there. And then the other extreme, this is just about the exact opposite of the 70 to 200 in size, is the 40. Just for if I want to take the 5D Mark III out, but I want to travel as light as possible, the 40mm lens. It's just a great little lens to travel with. Really nice. And so that will be good. Is that everything? No, it's not everything. Let's go up here. We got another spare battery. We have a bubble hot shoe. I picked this up. Again, time lapses you want, or panorama shots. This is really kind of a handy thing. Most cameras have a built-in electronic level, but I find this very visual thing to be great, and it's always up there. You don't have to push any buttons to see it. And so if I'm not using a flash or an LED light panel, that's handy. Hi, Sheila. She's at my feet, a dog. Little lens pouch with a lens cleaner cloth in there. Important when you're going to the beach. Down here in this, we got a neutral density filter for just, again, same as the GoPro for blocking out light. A circular polarizer for the 24 to 70, and a circular polarizer for the 70 to 200. Actually, vice versa. Stepper rings if I want to use any of these. Now these allow you to put different size filters on different sizes lenses. If I wanted to put, this is a 72 to 77 and the other's a 72 to 77 too. I don't know how I ended up with two of those and brought both of them, but we packed kind of quickly. Here is that little bit for the cotton carrier into the holster system. This is what I use at weddings. and it just slides in like that, and your camera just sits there firmly, and you have to turn it to slide it in or out. So it's not something where it's gonna accidentally pop out. It works quite well that way. And then spare AA batteries, mostly because of that LED light panel, and a little hex wrench for taking some of those tripod plates on or off. In the front pouch right here, I just have a little Leatherman, again, for some of the other tripod plates, or just, it's nice handy to have that around different things. Down here, a little monopod with an extra little head on it that gives me a little bit more flexibility. I don't know if you noticed, I didn't mention it, at the bottom of one of the GoPro housings is a tripod adapter. So for selfie shots, or kind of fun, more aerial shots, you can stick that up there. And sure, this bends here, but having this extra bit allows you to get it away from the pole down here, so you're not looking straight at the pole when you bend it around like so. And you can do some fun shots, photos in the waves of kids playing, surfing, not really surfing, but boogie boarding, things like that. For serious close-up action in the water, I am bringing along my Dicky pack, or maybe it's Dissa pack. I don't know how to say it. I should, since they've sent me something else. This I bought. The 5D Mark III fits in here. I've been using it now for about 2 years, and I've been happy with it. It is not something that I think you should seriously dive with, but the cases for your cameras that you can seriously dive with usually cost more than the cameras themselves. I'm not a scuba diver. I'm barely even a snorkeler, so it doesn't make sense for me. It is very awkward to control the camera when it's in here, but it is possible. There's a little finger hole here, finger holes on the lens to rotate it. But basically, I often put the camera on P mode when I put it in here, because you just don't have a lot of control. But being able to shoot raw, especially shooting underwater, shooting raw, it really is nice, because your white balance can often get very funky underwater. And a lot of the waterproof cameras that give you JPEGs have a special setting for that, but your 5D Mark III or your 70D doesn't. So this will certainly hold a T5i, 70D, 5D Mark III, D700, and they make a slightly smaller one for your mirrorless cameras now as well. One other thing about the Olympus is it's splash proof, which is nice. Now, I said they sent me something else. There are times, especially at the beach, where, well, I know there's a fair number of cell phones these days that are waterproof or at least splash proof. Mine's not. But you may also, you know, because it's so small and light, want to take it in the water with you for some fun pictures that are a little bit unique, and say, wow, you just shared an Instagram of an underwater shot. How'd you do that? Well, you just stuck your cell phone into this glorified Ziploc bag. It works almost exactly the same as the Dissy pack. It Ziplocs up, it rolls over, and it seals. And I've been testing it, been very impressed with it. If I trust my very expensive 5D Mark III plus expensive lens inside that other case, I certainly am going to trust my cell phone in here as well. If you buy one though, do some testing, stuff some toilet paper in there, and then, you know, go underwater with it and come up and make sure the toilet paper is still dry. But after that initial test, if it's fine, it's going to be fine. Just make sure you get it sealed up all the way. I said the Low Pro backpack and the Vanguard shoulder bag and the bigger shoulder bag, those are all getting packed with different stuff for the trip in the car, but then I'll be able to dump that gear out and throw camera gear in there if I want to travel differently. It's very unlikely that I'll ever really travel, you know, go out anywhere after we're at our vacation destination with, this is the Think Tank Airport Antidote version 2. But it is a great and very comfortable bag to carry everything with. And it has, this is a laptop pouch, a couple dollars in case you ever need cash. And another little case fits in here that holds my laptop, and that's coming along as well. Whew. That was 30 minutes about of me blabbing about all of the stuff I'm bringing. Way too much stuff? It is. Honestly, you could take your cell phone on the beach. So it's all about what you want to do. I'd be fine with just this. Well, see, here you go. Just this plus the LED light panel for some fun night shots. Oh, but I mean the GoPro for the wave shots. See, that's how it happens, and that's what I do. Just making excuses. It's all fun, and then I bring you and share all of my experiences with you about these things. I'd love to hear What would you love to have your hands on from here? What did you bring on your vacation this summer or plan to? And share with me some pictures from your vacation. I just had a fellow reader the other day, or viewer, send me an awesome time lapse he did of the tide on Cape Cod. And so in the Outer Banks, it's got kind of sissy tides, not a whole lot of changing there, but that's a really cool thing. And again, I hope to get a nice sunset time lapse out of here. That's one of my goals. Plus, have a little fun. Thanks so much for watching all of this. If you found this useful and you haven't subscribed, take a moment to hit that subscribe button down there and the like button. The like button lets YouTube and others know you should share.